Hey guys, hello. So, welcome back to part 4 of the series to help you get started teaching English as a second language. This one is going to cover like demo lessons, just continuous self improvement, feedback, goals, the tools that you would also need for teaching. So, all of that is wrapped up in this last spicy episode. I hope that this was a helpful series. For the demo lesson, though, I won't actually do a demo lesson. I'll have one though, but it will be unlisted. So once you book like a consultation with me, you will have access to the demo lesson. Um, I'll post like the intro video openly, but the demo lesson, I don't like having it public, because the demo lesson is like you pretending like you're teaching a 4-year old. So it's kind of weird. So that's available, but through consultations, right? But yes, so I won't stick long into that area. But as I said, if this sounds like something that would be helpful to you, stick around. Find out what tools you'll need to get started. All right, so let's begin. All right, so the first thing, let's touch on the demo lessons. The demo lessons depends on the company. Some will ask for like a quick 5 minutes. Some will ask for a full-on lesson, like a demo lesson. Some will do a demo lesson and then like with an interviewer, and then they ask you to do like trial lessons. So they have different processes, right? The demo lessons could be, as I said, 2 seconds, could be 10 minutes. So it really just depends on the company. Also, not all companies do require a demo lesson, right? The demo lesson thing is, it really depends on the company. But once you are doing a demo lesson, one of the key things you want to do is to prepare for it. And it depends because some will give you the slides and the information, but some won't, right? So sometimes you have to provide and create your own, demo lesson, your own slides, your own things. That's a little bit harder. But I'll speak about some of the tools for that later on. But that's one thing. So one of the key tips I can tell you for a demo lesson is the same thing I told you for the interview. Smile through it all. Smile even when it hurts. Smile when you're not sure. Smile, smile, smile. One of the key things they look for is you smiling. The next thing you want to do is talk slowly, not too slow, because it really depends on what they tell you, like the person's level and things like that. If they're a beginner, you talk slowly. If they're a little bit more advanced, then you talk a little faster, but still slow, clear, understandable, right? That's one of the other key things they listen out for, the clarity. Like you have to speak clearly, pronounce your words, things like that, right? Even like if you're asking them to say a word, you have to make sure you pronounce it. If I say cat, you have to say cat. Give them the sounds so that they can make the sounds. For example, I had a student recently and they got the word skate and she kept saying skate, skate. And I had to keep going, let's say it again. Skate. And then you skate, right? So that's one of the things that's called modeling. So that's one thing that you can do when you're doing your demo lesson to show them that you give the example, the student models. So it could be a word, it could be a sentence, but modeling is a good strategy. Another strategy is the total physical response, which we did talk about in the video before. But if they're kids, you have to do a lot of actions and gesticulations with your hands so they know what's going on, right? So, hi, my name is XYZ. What's your name? Like you have to do a lot of hand movements. Can you, I said, can you say, sorry, can you say dog? Let's say dog, and then you, right? That's total physical response. So it's showing them that you want them to say and you're listening for them to say that word, right? So that's another one that's really good to use. Also, like in correcting students, you don't want to tell them no. I said this before in another video. You don't tell them no. You just try and maybe model the answer a little bit more so that they can grasp or find out what their mistake is without you directly pointing at the mistake, right? For kids versus adults, it's good to give them like a lot of praise. So you clap them, good job, high five, thumbs up, whatever it is, but show them that they're doing a great job. Even if it's a bit challenging for them, still show them that you appreciate and you see the effort that they're making in trying to get the word or get the sentences right. So still show that appreciation, right? For some companies, for demo lessons, they might require props. I personally don't love those, but some will require props because the kids like to see like the little toys and things like that. So props are good. You could get really cheap props on Amazon or on Shein, right? I'll link some below. They like little teddies. They like little animals. Mostly animals are really good to have. It's good when you're starting out to get to know the student in the start. So find out what's their name. You could find out like their favorite color or their favorite food, like just to kind of break the ice to make it lighter and to make them more comfortable. So as I said, I will have a demo lesson available for consultations because it's kind of weird putting it on on YouTube in the open. But there are many YouTubers who have it out there. But as I told you guys, I'm shy and reserved, so I find it weird putting that one out. Good. Now, also as a teacher, you want to have a growth mindset. It's not easy. It seems easy, but it can be, as I said, draining, like mentally draining, right? Sometimes you could have days where, like, all the students that you have, their English is not like the best. So they're really hard to like explain and go over and repeat and model and it can be a lot. And at the end of the day, you just don't want to talk. For me personally, I think I've lost friends that way because I just feel like I was talking all day and then when I'm done, I just want to relax and chill with my daughter. So it's like mm, yeah, so so if you decide to teach, find that balance for you between your life and your teaching, right? Don't let teaching take over your life. Good. Find what works for you, find what makes that balance, right? As I said, continuous growth is always good. So find out how you can improve depending on if you're freelancing or with companies. Sometimes you could find out from students, like, so how was the lesson for you? So that kind of lets you know how you did as the teacher, but then also helps you to know if the student kind of got what you wanted them to get from the lesson. So it's like a good mix. So asking them that is key. And then that feedback is what helps you to know now, okay, so this is what I need to do, or this is what I need to tweak to make my lessons, better or more engaging. And some companies will also allow the students to give you some feedback, right? And the feedback could also be helpful, right? So yeah, those are my tips as it relates to that part. Now let's talk about some of the tools that you may need or will need to teach. First thing you need is your device, right? So you need either a laptop or a desktop. Mind you, there are some companies that use the cell phone. I promise you, there are companies that use just a cell phone. You just need a phone. You don't even need a headset for the phone, just the phone. But if you want, as I said, if you're looking to more make this your full time, then I would recommend a desktop, right? A laptop is good to have if you decide to like travel and teach. It's good to have that. However, if you do opt for a laptop, my suggestion is for you to have a mouse, right? It's very important to have a mouse because if you have to be like, it's a lot to maneuver and be typing and stuff while you're doing lessons. So having a mouse just makes it way easier, less time consuming having to, use the touchpad. So that's my recommendation for that. Also, if for a desktop, you don't necessarily need it, but for a laptop, it depends on how many ports are there. I would recommend a USB hub. The reason for that is you might want to connect different things. If you work at nights, you might need a ring light, right? If you work in the day, you might not need one, but if you are in darkness, you need a ring light. Good. You also need headsets, right? You need good quality headsets. Noise canceling headsets are ideal to use when you are doing the lessons. Now, I'm currently traveling, so this isn't my usual headset because usually the headsets where this is flexible, like really flexible, I don't usually recommend because I think they have like microfiber, and if they bend two times by next week, they stop working. So I recommend those that have like solid, even this is not so bad. It's thick, but it's still like wobbly. So it's not the best bet. I'll tag the better options below. But you want to get something where here is solid, like solid, and it goes like that because as I said, it lasts longer. Right? So that's my recommendation. Noise canceling headsets. Also, I recommend having two headsets if you can, because sometimes you have technical issues and your headset could just stop working in the middle of a lesson. It's good to have a backup option. Good. And that's why I recommended also the USB hub, because there are so many things that you might want to connect. And if a laptop doesn't have the space, as in the ports, then the hub will allow you to plug like three, four things in at once. So, for example, this is the simple hub I use. I'll put these below, of course, in a link. But here, my mouse is in there. When I'm ready, I'll put my headset in there. When I'm ready, I'll put my like ring light, if it is I'm doing like a night lesson, in there, and then just plug this into the laptop. Right? So it really depends on you, but this has really, came in handy because I think my laptop only has two ports. I don't remember. Yeah, I think it only has two ports, so it works out perfectly for that. So that the other thing is you want to have a very good quality webcam, right? Remember, these are video classes. People will be seeing you, so your quality has to be good, right? You can't like who's going to want to have a lesson where one they can't see the teacher or the teacher looks like blurred or things like that. Most companies you won't pass the interview process if you have a bad camera, or they'll ask you if you can change it before, right? I have a Logitech camera that I use, but again, I'm traveling, so I'm using my laptop now, but I actually have a desktop for teaching purposes, but my laptop is for traveling purposes, right? So that's that. Also, a background, as I said in a video before, that you want that background to be smooth, right? Clear. So if it's a plain white, plain blue, whatever it is, plain, but white is best because you get that natural light the most. But if you have a very crowded background, you could go on Amazon and get like a backdrop and use that. Put it in front of all your background and create a new background. Good. So you definitely want to have something plain and not distracting you in the background. As you progress, depending on like your lesson and if you teach kids or whatever company, some might ask you to get like a green screen, or some might ask you to create your own personal background. So they put like your name, like Teacher Monica, a world map, and you make it creative for how you want it and have your props there on a table. That's your choice. But I would usually recommend finding out what the company wants first and then adjust. Because, especially like for me, when I started and I was working with more than one company, one wanted a background with excitement and one wanted like a plain background. So I had like two different corners in my house. And at one point, I had like a removable background. So like I could just put it there. When I don't want it, I take it down. So it's what works for you. Figure it out. Um, the next one, as I said, is before different video, high speed internet. You can't be teaching a lesson and you're there freezing in the lesson. Like, yeah, that's not going to work, right? You have to have proper connection. If you are from Jamaica, my recommendation is to go with the bigger, better network, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, there are only two suppliers in Jamaica, and one is the better option if you want consistency with your connection. Good? So you definitely want to consider that. Another thing, as I said, is maybe you would need props. Sorry, open it back. You may need props, right? So that's another thing that you could get. Those are available online. Now, if you have to be creating your demo lesson and things like that, then my recommendation or my recommended platform would be Canva. Canva is pretty popular at this point. You could use Canva to create your presentations, your PowerPoints, and make them very nice, very intriguing, entertaining, all of that. Canva would be my recommendation. If you are freelancing and you're just looking at organization and organizing your lessons, your students, your all of that, then I recommend ClickUp. ClickUp is another great option. You could put your lessons in there. You could put the students, you could monitor the students' progress, all of that. So that option is also yours. So I gave you guys 4 videos, right? To help, I think it's 4, right? Yeah, to help you guys get started teaching English as a second language. I really hope that this was helpful. If it was, thumbs up, please. Comment below. Let me know how it helped. If it helped, if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. Oh, okay. When I do that video, I'll attach it below, the one for the introductory video. Or maybe I could do it now, because I know people might ask about the salary, right? The salary really ranges. I think I spoke about this before. It depends on the company you work with. Some companies will want to pay you $1 per hour, while some companies will pay you $30 an hour. Or you could be your own freelancer and you could get way more per hour. So it really depends on a lot of different factors. And that's why I said if you want to do it like freelance versus if you want to do it with companies, like the choice is yours. But there's a huge difference in terms of pricing, like a huge range. There are many factors that companies also take into consideration. Some companies will pay you based on your country. So it's maybe one company, but if you're from this country, they pay this amount. If you're from this, they pay this. I personally don't really like that, but that's how it works, right? So you have that. Then also you have, as it relates to your speaking ability, if you're a native versus a non-native speaker, like if English isn't your main language, then you are paid a different rate. And sad to say, it's usually lower, but for me personally, as I said, doing this for so long, I really want to advocate for, like, I want to say Caribbean people in general. I would say Jamaicans because I'm from Jamaica. No one come for me, please. I'm just saying that because that's where I'm from. But in general, I think the companies need to give more opportunities to people outside of like the US and Canada, because in all honesty, there are some really, really good teachers out there, right? But they never get the chance or the opportunity because like you already get blocked before even trying. And that's why most will start freelancing. And to be honest, if you want to start freelancing, again, it's something you can have a consultation with me about. It's hard as hell, right? But it's more than possible. It's doable. It takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes coming out of your comfort zone, it takes being out there. It takes a lot, but it's, again, it's more than possible. It's easier to free. I'm from Jamaica, so it's harder to freelance in Jamaica because, of course, everyone there already speaks English. So the challenge would be, of course, only finding clients through online means, right? But if you are in another country where you speak English, but you have other, speakers of other languages around you, that's like perfect, right? So at the end of the day, again, I hope this was helpful. I spent all day recording these videos. So I hope you like, share, subscribe with friends, family, anyone who is interested. And again, please stay tuned to my channel. It's not just teaching, it's remote work in general. I'll talk about remote work, passive income, right? Creating your books on Amazon, all of those things. Everything you can think of, because I am like an all-rounder. I like to try things and test things and do everything. So a little bit of everything. So I also want to share that. So yeah, thank you guys for going through the series. Have a great day.